It's New Beer Thursday! Woo! Woo!
That was weak.
Was I late on that
weak.
one?
Yeah, that was really
late.
That was weak.
But we're with Tyler at the brewery. And again, yeah, we've done this before with you.
Yeah, I think this time I have a mic though,
You have a
right?
mic this time, yeah.
We did it very poorly last time.
You've earned the right to speak now.
Okay.
So.
You guys stepped your game up a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, yeah, you got to auditions, that kind
We
of
bought
thing.
another mic. That's how we stepped our game up.
We bought a third and fourth mic, yeah. So, yeah, last time we were here, we did the Hot and Roth, which is very tasty, and I think, if I remember correctly, your favorite beer to brew.
It's the easiest one. It's the easiest one to make. Yeah.
But this time we're doing something a little different. Apparently we're drinking some Fanta.
Some grape juice.
So
I think some like wild cherry carbonated water came out of that before.
Excellent,
So.
excellent. No, we're actually going to do a vintage of Oude Tart because
vertical, I guess.
Vertical, yeah, not a vintage.
We're
We're going to
vertical of vintages.
Yeah, vertical of vintages. One of which happens to be your original homebrew recipe.
It does, yeah, it is.
So I'm very excited to try that. And so why don't we jump in and start drinking one of those?
So yeah, we have the homebrew. This is the
09?
late 09, 10.
We released in 09.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the one that was released this year.
Yep, just about a week ago, I believe.
Which is technically brewed in 2010, right?
2010, 2009, 2008.
Yeah, okay.
So the one that we just released actually has a few different years in it.
Okay.
So
And typically it's in barrels for a year to a year and a half.
yeah, so we actually will blend this. It's really a great blending beer. So the first one that we brew is usually a lot more malty. Then as it gets closer to the release date, we'll actually start brewing more and more acidic batches.
Okay.
And we'll sit there and blend them together to get the sourness that we want.
So you would have like how many different blends while you're sampling?
I think this year it's about 5 different batches.
Okay.
And then we actually blend in a little bit of lambic as well. Or I should say lambic style ale. We don't actually make a lambic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I feel like I need a bag of chips or something with this.
Yeah, you know, it's so I poured this from my homebrew keg.
Shake it.
When I went to go put it in the bottle today, I realized that my keg was leaking. So
right.
It's not really carbonated.
It's a little flat, but
this is the Oude Tart that was the collaboration with you and Tommy.
There you go.
cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Tyler. This is
and it's appropriate that we're drinking Tyler's homebrew since
So
we just finished doing a pilot batch with you.
We did.
yeah.
So that
I
was
forgot to mention that.
yeah. So we're
brewed
bringing a black saison
Yeah.
with no spices,
Yep.
none, but
We'll
some
get,
honey
we'll get
and
the spice
candy
character
sugar.
from our
right,
yeast.
right.
So
Which we pulled right out of 4 candied
4 calling
hens.
birds.
4 culling birds.
Yep.
I'm really bad at names.
Did you really think it was 4 canned hens?
I'm like 4 candied something hens. There we go. So I'm not up with the Christmas days. So
this is what, 3-4 years old?
It's probably,
Ooh.
well, so the original recipe is long gone, the original batch.
Okay.
I brewed that when I was still in college. I think it was like one of my very first batches of homebrew, or it was my first sour that I ever brewed.
was it intentionally sour, or was it
Yeah,
like sour
it was-
the way my beers go
It was
sour?
intentionally sour.
Okay.
And then I just kind of put it in the keg, and I didn't know if it was good or not. I wasn't that experienced back then.
Right.
You know, I was like 18 at the time. When Patrick found this location, my college is right down the street. I went to Cal State Fullerton. And I just brought the keg here because we had a little kegerator and we didn't have any beer to drink. So I brought my Flemish Red in. You know, Patrick tried. He's like, "Oh man, this is really good."
Hello.
It's like that. All right, this is one of the first beers that we're
Right
gonna
on.
brew here at the brewery. And it was. This was like batch 6 and 8, or batch 16 and 18. I always mix them up.
Right.
That we brewed here at the brewery. So
That's awesome. This is actually, it's really tasty. I mean, it'd be better carbonated, obviously.
yeah,
but
it's,
I mean,
it's a little thin. Carbonation obviously helps
Right.
with that.
but I mean, it's got a great flavor profile on
Yeah,
it.
you could see where Oude Tart came from. This is kind of the base recipe of Oude Tart, and then when we actually brew it here, we tweaked the recipe a little bit.
Okay.
So
Now,
this is
you
a single
guys-
batch. That's one thing you have to remember. Whereas Oude Tart
Is
blend.
multiple
is
batches.
multiple batches
right.
blended together
Well,
with
you guys-
some lambic style ale in it.
And you guys age those in red wine oak barrels, right? Which I assume
Yeah.
you don't do for your
Neutral red wine barrels.
homebrew? Okay.
And then this never saw any
Barrel.
oak.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I lied. This never saw a barrel. At home,
Oak chips.
At home, I have oak cubes, and that's how I keep my sour culture alive. So
Oh, right
actually,
on.
if I rack a beer out, I take the oak cubes out and I put them in fresh wort, and that's how I transfer my bacteria and Brettanomyces, Saccharomyces into my next batch.
That's pretty
Right on.
cool.
So it's the same concept of using an oak barrel, but without actually using an oak barrel. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's you know, very reminiscent, obviously, of Oude Tart. I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost like you could drink and go, yeah, that's Oude Tart. you
This
know?
this actually reminds me of the sour cherry Oude Tart.
Uh-huh.
You know, because it's like you get more fruit quality off of that, and like with this one, you're getting more fruit than the oak.
Yeah.
So I get kind of like the
I kind of want to
what do you call that? It's just a sour cherry Oude Tart, right?
Yeah.
I'm correct on that. All right.
I kind of want to save this and try it side by side.
Yeah,
with the
I think
other
we should.
ones.
So we'll set that aside.
So this is the
2009.
9. I
It
keep
won
saying
the
10.
2010 World Beer Cup
No, at GABF it won.
and at the World Beer Cup.
Oh, it
so
did?
the first award we won was at the World Beer Cup in Chicago. It's the first main award we've actually ever won,
Okay.
and took gold medal. So we beat Belgians in their own category.
Nice.
I think we talked about this a little bit the last time, but a big part of why you have such a problem winning medals at competitions is that none of your beers are to any specific style whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so you have to enter pretty much everything in the miscellaneous categories.
It's very hard to enter some of our beer, and even when it does, there's always like we tend to tweak it a little bit. So
Right.
it's but where's the fun in brewing a beer to style? Like,
Exactly.
Where's the creativity in that?
Yeah. All right, well, cheers to 2009.
Cheers.
That was a good year. Ooh, definitely more oak on this.
I think this has a little more tartness on the nose.
It's a
Yeah.
bit funky.
But again, carbonation definitely
yeah.
helps
Yeah.
bring that out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the
know-
carbonate. You can also see how the carbonation affects aroma, because this is just exploding with like aroma coming off of it.
Yeah.
Versus where this one was a lot more like you had to work to kind of get to it.
Yep. This has a little bit more like malt character in it. It's a little bit thicker. It has more of a mouthfeel. But again, carbonation. But even if this was flat, it would still be a little bit more thicker.
Right.
A little more
Then-
viscous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
currently, you ferment this in a stainless steel tank.
Yeah,
until
so
it
we actually
becomes
do
beer.
we do a neutral ferment.
Right.
So what we do is we brew it, we knock it out in a stainless steel fermenter, and we pitch a neutral yeast strain. It takes about a week to ferment. We put that in oak barrels, and then we pitch our bacteria, our
What does that
yeast,
taste like?
Brett, and so forth.
I mean, have you tasted the finished like?
Yeah, it tastes like a really malty, caramely red ale.
Okay,
So it's
that's interesting.
it's a good beer, but it's not. It might be something you find at a pub in the
not
middle
Oude
of
Tart.
nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's not that great of a beer.
Okay.
But again, the malt bill was created around souring it. So
You want to have a lot of sugar in there.
yeah, it needs to have a lot of dextrins in there. Like we need sugar that the yeast is not going to be able to ferment. So the Brett can break it down, the
Right.
lacto
Oh,
can break it
okay.
down, the PO can break it down.
You
and so
got to
forth.
give the bacteria something to eat as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to say that 2009 Oude Tart is probably still in my top 3 best beers ever. Like,
Yeah.
I think the year that this came out, I bought like 3 cases of it and went through that over 6 months where I was just like, and every time I opened it, it was just like as good as the last time. You know, and I never got tired of this beer.
Yeah, I think this is a beer that kind of lives in the Black Tuesday shadow.
Uh-huh.
You know, like your biggest and most popular beer is Black Tuesday, where, you know, this beer is it's right up there as
Right.
far as
Yeah, I mean,
This
of
is
the
the
best
this
beers
is
you
the
guys
most
do.
popular accessible beer that you guys.
this is like
yeah.
we won more awards with this beer than any other beer,
Mm-hmm.
and Black Tuesday has never won an award.
Have you
So,
submitted Black Tuesday for awards?
We have.
Really?
Yeah,
And it doesn't win.
it doesn't.
That's
The
interesting.
funny story is, Taps Fish House and Brewery.
Right.
So I think
Your arch nemesis.
exactly. They brewed an imperial stout. I forgot the name of it. I think it's Remy. They actually brewed it. They brought kegs here, and we racked it in one of our bourbon barrels. About like 6 or 8 months later, we racked it out of the bourbon barrel into kegs. They took it back to their brewery, carbonated it, bottled it, sent it off to the GABF. And last year at the GABF, they had the first category for, like, I think, imperial or oak aged imperial stout,
Right.
and they end up winning gold, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And, like,
That's when I hugged him and almost killed him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All three of them walked up on stage, and like, I'm the one. I didn't brew it, but like, I put it in the oak barrel. I racked it out. It took me like 2 hours to rack it out. We had a lot of problems. So I was like sitting there, I'm like, damn you! Like, like they beat us in that category, and I did the work for them.
I have to say, Remy's an amazing freaking beer, though.
It is, yeah. The beer is really good.
Yeah. So, but you guys actually do quite a bit of collaboration together. In fact, they brewed a beer called Mischief, which is like I think what Evan came in and saw the recipe for Mischief, and
he kind of cheated. Evan.
God damn you.
He called me. I think he asked me like what hops we use, or he asked me something.
Right.
And I kind of helped him a little bit. And then he came in, he asked for some of my yeast, because we use a proprietary yeast strain. But yeah, no problem, you know, we get yeast from them all the time, so we'll give you some yeast. And then like 3 weeks later, then we find out that they like reverse engineered our beer. Like, oh no, you know, he called me and asked for a bottle. So I gave him 2 bottles.
The third step in the evil plan.
Exactly.
So they sat down, they drank it, they tried to reverse engineer the recipe. They did a pretty good job.
Right.
I gave them the yeast. They brewed the beer.
Yeah.
So.
And that was all in fun, I assume.
Oh yeah. We're good friends with them.
Right.
So you know,
at least they called it
cool.
something similar to Mischief. You know,
Right.
well,
because I remember I was at that Phantom tasting in Chino last year, and Victor brought out a growler and it said Mischief, and I'm like,
sounds awfully familiar.
I go, is this what the brewery's Mischief? I'm like, and he's like, no, try it. I'm like, this tastes like the brewery's Mischief. Are you sure? He's like, no, it's Mischief. It's our beer. And I'm like, gotcha.
They actually kind of helped us develop Mischief.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember when Mischief came out, we had a few different recipes, and we let people in our tasting room kind of vote on which one they liked better. And whichever one, you know, the recipe that we're brewing, that
kind
one,
of crowdsourced.
Yeah, the one that won, that's what we brew. But we kind of wanted to switch it at one point. We actually brewed a high gravity beer, watered it down. So trying to get more beer out of less,
Right.
I don't know, less brews.
Right.
And then we kind of all felt in the brew house that it affected the flavor, and it definitely did. Mischief, you know, went really good and kind of took a little dive, and we picked up in our sensory analysis. And as soon as they brewed it, they kind of brewed it the original way.
Okay.
And then we got to drink them side by side, and we're sitting there like, all right, you know what, we need to go back to the original way. So they kind of helped us nail down that recipe.
Yeah, come to grips with the fact that this had to be brewed this way.
Yeah.
So right on.
That's really cool, and that's, you know, going back to breweries helping each other out.
Yep.
You know, it's really cool.
Or just playing random tricks on each other, like, you know, stealing beers.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was, but it worked out to like benefit them both.
It turned out to be awesome and amazing. So
let's open this last bottle.
Yeah.
Who has a bottle opener?
Oh, I stole one out of
tasting
here.
room.
I plan to leave it. I'm not going to steal it.
$3.50.
Damn it. God. No money in my wallet. Nothing. I'll have to open a tab.
So yeah, like we said, this is the 2011 version.
So
I get so confused because
this one is funny because on Beer Advocate right now, people are complaining that it's flat. So obviously,
no, it's not.
Yeah, we.
Hey, Beer Advocate, look at that. It's called Head. Deal with it.
This passed our production release panel.
Right.
I mean, not one of us in our company has opened up a bottle and have it be flat.
Right.
Every single bottle we've opened here has been carbonated.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them already. And
one thing that people might get confused about is just it's not that great of a beer for head retention.
Right. I was just gonna say, like, it doesn't retain the head that much, but it is carbonated.
Exactly. So, you know, people kind of pour it. It doesn't really have great head retention. So it kind of sees flat. You know.
Yeah. The only thing I noticed is that this year's is a little bit darker.
Which one? Last year's or
this year's?
Yeah.
This year's is a bit darker than the. That's your homebrew version, by the way.
It is.
He's like, I'm just checking the color.
Maybe I'm trying to.
I know what you're doing.
Compare it to the original.
I know what you're doing.
Huh?
But yeah, I noticed it was a little more dark. It's almost, to me, it was almost bordering on a little bit of a sour brown versus a Flemish red.
See, they look pretty close to me.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'll grant that. I was going off of a year-old memory though, so. I mean,
And you know, one thing is most people, I've had a few people come up to me and say,
Oh yeah, cheers.
you know, oh, it's really different than last year. I mean, yeah, if you just opened up,
if you do a side by side,
a 2-year-old bottle of Oude Tart right now and you drink a fresh one, yeah, you're right. They are definitely different, but in the end, it's the same recipe. Nothing's changed. You know, it's a really young version.
Exactly.
Give this time. Carbonation's going to build from the bacteria and the bread that's still working in there.
Yeah,
it's going to get more
there's
sour.
a reason you sell her a beer.
Exactly.
You know, it's going to change over time.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think if this was as heavily carbonated, like, because when we opened the, is it 09 or 10?
09.
It's 09.
Okay, so we just skipped 10 altogether then. Like,
Yeah,
10 didn't happen.
Yeah, it takes time.
We opened the 09, and yeah, like, the head retention's better, obviously. There's more carbonation on it when you poured. But a lot of that comes from the fact that it's been sitting for 2.5 years.
Exactly.
And it's going to get more and more carbonated. So if you made this beer as carbonated as this, in a year, the thing's going to explode in the guy's cellar.
It could be a bottle bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like...
This has sat warm in my room since the day we bottled it.
Right on.
So the first time I ever saw a refrigerator was this morning at 8 a.m.
You know, since we're talking about cellaring the bottles and whatnot, it could be just because we are drinking a 2-year-old bottle of Oude Tart next to this, but the nose, I think, is a little less tarty smelling.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
And I guess that's going to develop over time in the bottle, too.
Definitely will.
Like Steve was saying, when we both commented when we first tried it, it was more like it reminded us of a sour brown.
You definitely get more of that kind of caramel malt character in this than you do of that kind of raisiny, like special B that you get in the older version.
Yeah.
So.
But
well, it's like what Orval goes through 8 different stages as it
Yeah.
ages, and you know you're going to expect that same kind of thing in these types of beers. So
I think it closely resembles 2009, just with a little bit more of a dark malt quality to it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's it. So.
yeah,
and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in a couple years with this one too, how much more tart it will get. But yeah, definitely right now it's
this one
to a bottle of 09, it's not quite as tart.
Yeah, and it's exactly how it's supposed to be. With age, that is going to develop.
Yeah.
Like,
this is like a fresh bottle of Oude Tart though is a great way to introduce somebody to the idea of sour beers, because it's like you get the sour qualities, you get the funkiness, you can definitely taste the Brettanomyces and all that wonderful aspect of this beer, but it's not so in your face that it's like, oh, pucker up, bitch, like here it comes. But where the 09 is like for the seasoned sour drinker, where it's like now you're gonna get all this right in your face, like ugh.
Yeah.
So.
And I think when I first had this, when it first came out, I think I was more sensitive to to tart beers. So in the way that this is not as tart as 09 is now, maybe back when I had it, it was way more tart because I wasn't drinking
you weren't used to
tart beers.
No.
So
it's like the first lemon head versus the last lemon head.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
yeah.
we are all at GABF right now as the show is releasing.
it's like magic, right?
Yeah, it's like poof, poof. So talk a little bit like for people who are going to be at GABF who are sitting in their hotel rooms watching our show. We thank you, by the way. Dedicated. Where can they find you guys this weekend?
It's a good question. I just got a schedule emailed to me.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, I'm not there yet, man.
Well, I know they're releasing a special beer on
Friday.
I don't know what date that is.
I think it's
but
Friday.
The Friday of GABF.
Right, Friday GABF.
I guess it's a beer you made with a pizza.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
had a chef from, I think, let's just say Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty big.
Colorado Chef.
That works.
I think that's his Twitter handle, right? Colorado Chef.
Exactly, yeah. Well, we had a few people come. They cooked us pizzas outside on like a portable wood burning oven. We came in here and they cooked us 2 pizzas, and we got to pick which pizza we liked the best. And we kind of had to develop a recipe around that pizza for a pairing. So in Colorado, where I guess we're at right now,
It's all very confusing.
It's all very confusing.
It's very, very heavy.
we're having an event where they're going to bring in a wood burning oven. They're going to cook pizzas. And we're going to release the beer. So it's going to be like a little pizza beer
that's cool.
pairing.
So anyway, we're also at GABF. We're going to be hanging around, doing some stuff here and there. We're going to be at Funkworks today.
Well, it's today because I might be there
Thursday.
as well. Okay, I'll be there Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to be
This is
filming.
weird.
I know, seriously. It's so hard to like try to forecast the future. No, we're going to be there Thursday from like 11 until about 2:30 filming with Funkworks and Crooked Stave because they both
yeah.
work out of the
Yep.
same brewery. And then I think we're going to head over to Avery and, harass Adam for a little while before we head down to the actual fest. And then, of course, Saturday night is Dr. Bill's rare beer tasting. So,
I think we'll be there.
Friday morning, we're going to be at Beer for Boobs brunch, celebrating the ladies of craft beer and what they're doing for everybody, and of course boobs, because who doesn't like boobs?
I'll celebrate boobs. I like boobs.
Otherwise, we'll be on the floor.
Okay.
You like boobs?
They're okay.
What's your favorite?
Wow.
Boobs? No?
All right, come on, Phil.
1 to 3.
This is getting
Phil,
awkward.
come on. I will convert you right now. So we're going to be on the floor. Find us. We'll be in our shirts, obviously, because,
We're not going to be shirtless.
Yeah, we'll be wearing shirts of some sort.
Scary.
That will probably say New Brew Thursday on the back. I think I'm getting a tattoo at GABF.
Of what?
I don't know. I think a tulip glass.
Dolphin with
No, I
like
think
a
it's gonna
sailor cap?
nice. I think a tulip glass in the back of my neck. So I think that's
Maybe
what we finally decided on.
A tramp stamp.
No tramp stamps, unless it says no entry with an arrow pointed down. So, and well, the census got awkward. So yeah, GABF's going to be awesome. This is kind of our pre-GABF show since we're going to be launching this the morning that we're there. But definitely, if you're in GABF, find us. If you're not, then watch our Twitter feed and be jealous because it's going to be an amazing weekend.
Yeah. Tyler, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
guys
big
for coming.
hugs.
This is like a once-in-a-lifetime-ish kind of thing for us.
Well, yeah, and look for Black Thursday coming on the tap room.
We gotta talk about the name.
Oh, come on!
We gotta talk about the name.
Come on! All right, we'll talk about the name, but I'm gonna try to force the issue.
We'll see. We'll see if it's good.
All right,
We're going to climb up
He's
here
like,
and
I'm not
just
naming
change
it Black
ourselves.
Thursday unless it tastes like gold. But anyway, yeah. So hopefully the beer will be good enough to be on the tap room. So see what happens. And as always, until next time, stay safe and drink beer.
Cheers.